All right, Adam, not a practice analysis video today, but we're here at the Boulder Chamber Kickoff Luncheon. It was just wrapped up behind us. You can see all the tables and everything. Everybody's filing out of here, but not a practice. But we actually got to hear from 4 players and 3 coaches, including Coach Prime today. And so, I guess just first off, your thoughts on this event.
It just, again, shows the Coach Prime effect that we've seen continue to happen here in Boulder. So much energy in this building. It sounds like, I wasn't at last year's because we didn't have a media table. I know you were curious to get your thoughts on that, but it sounds like about twice as many people here this year. And I really enjoyed beforehand just kind of walking around and getting a chance to talk to different readers and viewers of our stuff, and getting a chance to put some faces and with usernames on our website. And there's just so much excitement that you can hear in the voices of the fans. And then Coach Prime comes in and dances with Peggy, and he's one of one. He just has an electric energy, and it has been interesting covering the Coach Prime buffs because of how polarizing this program has become overnight. And for the folks that have been kind of negative, I think they're not really digging deeper than just the surface of Coach Prime being a brash, confident person. Right. And when he spoke, a lot of it was not about football. It was about raising these football players into being great young men. And that's not lip service with him. That's really true to his core. And you'd hear Charles Kelly really articulate why he wanted to coach for Coach Prime. And it came down to a lot of the beliefs that they share. And so a good event, not newsworthy necessarily in terms of this event, but definitely a lot of excitement and energy in this building.
Yeah, I will say we were told about 1,600 people was the estimate for today. I think it was around 600 last year, 600 to 800. So more than double, I believe, what it was last year. And yeah, I agree with you. We've talked about this, but I went down to Atlanta after the Celebration Bowl, and you talk about like there's more to Coach Prime's program. I discovered that down there, and there is some brashness to it, but the line, the thing that the message I got basically down there was you can't have all the style that Coach Prime has without some substance behind it, and there's clearly a lot of substance, and that program really impressed me. I spent 2-3 days around the Jackson State program. It really impressed me just how much everybody from equipment people to trainers, there are a couple of them that are now here, love being around this man because of what he's done to impact them. And we're seeing that with these young men, right? I mean, obviously Shador and Shiloh are his sons, but Travis Hunter wants to be here with Coach Prime. Jace Feely, his dad has known Coach Prime for a while. He wanted to be here because of Coach Prime. Mark Vassett, a punter from Australia, came here because he wants to be with Coach Prime, because of what he does. And you talk about like the criticism. I don't think a lot of people around the country realize how badly Colorado needed this jolt from Coach Prime. And Rick George talked about it. That like, this program needed something, and we needed greatness. And I think he said today that we were kind of at that point where it was going to determine whether we were going to be mediocre or whether we were going to be great. And he said Coach Prime can bring us to greatness, and that's what this thing does. This gives a shot in the arm to a program that has won a national title, right? But it's been a long time.
Well, it was interesting when Colorado hired Coach Prime, and so much of the reaction is why Colorado. And again, people just on the surface level, but you dig deeper, it was a perfect marriage. Colorado needed Coach Prime. Coach Prime didn't need Colorado, but what he had here was an infrastructure, and with the transfer restrictions, again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but it was important that got changed. And so with those changes, he was able to reconstruct the roster. He would have. It was perfect timing, perfect storm. If Coach Prime went to another Power 5 program, he might not have had the freedom to do exactly what he wanted in building this program up the way he wanted, and having to kind of take a sledgehammer to things, not the facilities, but a lot of little things around this program that needed changing. And he hates the word culture. I think the word that he uses more is there's a standard that they're setting. We've seen a lot of head coaches here try to set a standard, but there was some leniency in there, especially with talented guys, where they didn't have the ability to do what Coach Prime is doing, in the sense of it's our way or the highway. And guys are falling in line because they know that Coach Prime and the staff can get them to achieve their goals.
Right. And we talk about, why Colorado and how much this program needed it. Today was an example of that. And I know this is boosters. These are people that, they love this program. They put money into this program, or their businesses have. But the energy in the building today when that theme music starts up, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden here comes Coach Prime, and actually before the doors even open, we're standing there waiting for the doors open, and the players walk through after practice, and the whole lobby out there was filled with fans waiting to get in, and just the huge roar that went up when the players walked through just to go back to the locker room after practice was huge. And so these fans are desperate for something good and positive to happen with this football program, and there is some hope finally for this football program that the fans have for the first time in a long time.
And you mentioned about 600 in here last year. Frankly, they probably didn't even deserve to have that many, right? There's been a lot of loyal people in this fan base that have stuck around. I know because they read our stuff every day. We interact with them. It was hard to. You couldn't say be patient anymore. You said that for so many years, and so to see this come together, and they got to go out there and play football games and back it up, but there's no question that this program has made a sizable jump, and again, just going back to it's great to see these folks that have endured through so much have that feeling again. Yeah,
you mentioned not a whole lot of news out of this. We did learn they're going to go fast on offense. Obviously Coach Lewis, we've known that from the start. They want to go fast on offense, fast on defense. If there's any news, could it have been the fact that Jace Feely was up on the stage? And is the kicker time competition, does it go to Jace Feely? Nobody's ever said it, but the fact that Jace Feely was on the stage, is that potentially some news?
Well, Jace Feely has the strongest leg of the kickers in this program, right? Yeah. So he's going to be your kickoff guy, and he's going to be your long field goal guy. Yeah. Now the question is, does he handle all field goals, and maybe you give Alejandro Mata extra points? You can use both those guys. It will be interesting to see, do they have a yardage that inside of that's Mata territory? But it's not. I mean, it hasn't been up for debate for a little while now that Jace Feely had to handle those long kicks. I mean, he's made a couple 58-yarders and even hit a 65-yarder according to Coach Prime. So he's got that leg strength, and that's pretty valuable as a program. But they've had some good kickers come through here, but not since Mason Crosby have they had a kicker that can kick it from that far out.
Right. So before we get out of here, one quick thing of news is that you retweeted it this morning from Darius Sanders. He had a video out there that Jeremiah McCrimmon, the JUCO offensive lineman, is now here, and then Savion Wilkerson, the running back from Jackson State, a second-time transfer that he learned that I guess Coach Prime said he is eligible this year.
Well, we're getting a lot of criticism for talking about depth issues on this team. Running back, we can say that is a really, 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 really deep group now. What is Charlie Offerdahl, fifth or sixth on the depth?
Sixth,
So, that's good news. And again, try not to be a broken record, but that's a position where injuries can pile up. So you can never have too many talented players there. And from everything we've heard, he's a steady Eddie, overachiever type of running back, that low center of gravity, and I think he'll provide something for this football team. How much, when does it happen? It's hard to say, but it's good news because I don't think he has his red shirt anymore. So that would have just been a year lost if he wasn't able to get that waiver. So that's big news.
Yeah, all conference in the MEAC 2 years ago, all SWAC last year, 1,100 yards at Jackson State. So he's a guy. I think Alton McCaskill's probably your starter there, and you got other guys, but you got 4, 5, 6 guys that can run the football here.
Yeah, Dylan Edwards, you got to find. So again,
Coach Smoke, Anthony Hankerson.
Coach Flea's got a good problem to start the season, and then it'll work itself out. But that's great for Savion. It would be a real bummer to come in here and have to just watch all season.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for you and I throughout camp. I mean, our next access is next Tuesday, which really is previewing TCU. So we'll be back next week with more analysis.